I look forward to spending this time with you. I actually don't call it spending the time because we gain time when we are together, because we share, all of us are sharing the 1 minute at the same time. So think about that. If we had to split that up, we'd be losing a lot of time. So we are gaining time. So the topic today is if you're happy and you know it. See, clap your hand. Well, that is part of a series of talks that Home Office is feeding out to all 600, maybe 700 centers registered around the country and around the world. It's a children's happy song. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hand. Tuesday, the 15th. Today is the 15th. Yes? Yes. It's a wonderful day. Wonderful day. So here's a quote from Buddha I'd like to open up your mind with. A quote from Buddha. And I quote, "Praise and blame, gain and loss, pleasure and sorrow, come and go like wind. To be happy, rest like a giant tree in the midst of them all." End of quote. So you don't need to make a decision about that. But as you listen, as we take the time together to be together this morning, think about what might come to you as a result. How well are you willing to be happy, rest like a giant tree in the midst of them all? What do you think he really meant in English? Although those are English words, what do you think he really meant? And I won't even try to answer it. You don't have to answer it now. You can wait until and see what happens for you during the next few minutes. Could you be happy and not know it? Some heads are going like this. That's surprising. Could you be happy and not know it? How might that feel when you really come to know that you were happy all the time? Have you thought about that? Again, no comments. It's a children's song. If you're happy and you know it, and you know that they are enjoying themselves when they sing that. I believe that that song was meant to stir up deep thought, simply to generate a feeling of light, pleasure, and happiness. It wasn't meant to do anything else, not to go into all kinds of strange places. So the suggested science of mind viewpoint on all of this, I took some notes from them and included it in my time with you together today. The way to happiness is through gratitude. The way to happiness. Have you ever thought about the way to happiness? Or have you ever thought, well, maybe I'm happy and I don't know it? Or maybe whenever I am ever going to be happy? I think that's the majority. Find joy in the smallest miracle and blessings. Look for the unexpected to shift the view. You know, there's an old saying, fake it till you make it. You ever heard that? All right, so that's part of today's talk. Fake it till you make it. And to act as though it is. You say, pretend. Archibald MacLeish said, pretense is often an indispensable step in the attainment of genuineness. It is a form into which genuine inclinations flow and solidify. That was the best definition I've ever read. I memorized it and I haven't used it often enough to be able to let it flow like you heard today. Pretense. Nat King Cole song, pretend you're happy when you're blue. We're going to talk a little bit about pretending. In the summary for Home Office for today's talk, they talked about happiness stems from a state of mind and an attitude. A state of mind and an attitude. And you thought happiness was about having things outside of yourself. They're saying happiness comes from a state of mind and an attitude. An attitude is an inward way of thinking, behaving, and being in the world. Happiness stems from a state of mind and attitude. We can choose to shift our attitude by focusing on something that brings us joy. Can you think of something that brings you joy now? See, all of a sudden their face from went to serious to smile without saying another word. Focus on the gratitude and our blessings in a great state of mind, and you will be surprised what happens. I think that's a good recipe for changing the energy into something that brings us joy. Focusing on gratitude and our many blessings is a great feeling. Do you know something called a feeling bumper? Feeling bummed? Feeling bummed? Feeling bummed out? All right. So I created a feeling bummed buster. And we're going to talk about that fella. A feeling bummed buster, or a way to make us even happier when we already are in the moment. I like the way that Home Office put this out, and I quote them. It says, "Siblings of happiness are." You know what the siblings? Who the siblings? Siblings of happiness. Siblings of happiness are: number 1, contentment. Number 2, joy. Number 3, gratification. Number 4, well-being. Number 5, satisfaction. Number 6, gratitude. If you could come up with more, I think that would be wonderful. Think about that for yourself. Siblings of happiness. You want to be happy? You better go like this. Don't be reluctant. And nobody's going to judge you. You want to be happy? Yes, okay. I expect you to do that. 6 states of mind to help us engage. Engage, that means recruit the bummed out buster. I recruited the bummed out buster a long time ago, but I didn't call it that. So I'm glad I found a name for it. So bummed out buster. So focusing on gratitude and our many blessings is a great way to put pep in your step. Put pep in your step. Makes our heads bob and bobble and feel lighter. That's focusing on our blessings. We need to focus on our blessings, not what makes us unhappy. And too much of our energy and our time is spent on what's not working. And you know what? That becomes a magnet. Guess what you're creating? More what doesn't work. More and more of what doesn't work because you spend so much mental energy and focus and spiritual energy, creative energy on what is not working. So change your mind, change your thinking, change your life. These expressions of happiness are contagious and get others into the joyful spirit too. So I'm going to repeat that to you. Focusing on gratitude and our many blessings is a great way to put pep in your step makes our heads bob and bobble and feel lighter. These expressions of happiness are contagious. You know, if you want a group to start laughing, guess what to do? Start laughing, you know, everybody's gonna laugh. See that? Everybody here is smiling and laughing. That's why the "if you are happy and you know it" is a statement of the day, of the week. If you're happy and you know it, because when you know it, you create more happiness. If you don't know it, you create what causes you not to know it. That's the power of our mind. You know, when we think, we are using the mind of God individualized, not universalized, individualized. So you're not God. But when you use your mind as an individuation of that God, you have the power to think and create out of thought. Everything that you have now came as a result of your pre-thinking it. You always thought about it before it happened. Sometimes you pretend you're surprised, or you say, I'm surprised. Woo-hoo. Go back a little bit and you see that you did think about it 2 weeks ago, a month ago, a year ago. You thought about it and you believed it, and then you put it aside. You did it in a drawer and shut the drawer. But finally, the wood got old and the drawer fell open. And there is your big surprise. Because you didn't believe. You didn't believe that the power of your mind, it was the power of God operating in you. So, you know what? If you're happy and you know it, is a principle. You ever thought about that? That's a principle. And I'll explain that a little bit later. Principle becomes an affirmation, a declaration, a mental equivalent to live a happy and healthy life, and to shout it out loud. If you're happy and you know, let yourself know it. Stand in front of a mirror and say, hey, you're happy. Remember that? And smile at yourself. And you know what? It'll smile back to you. If you smile at yourself in the mirror, you're bound to get a smile back. The big long question is this: what is there in the world that bums you out today? And sometimes you find yourself wanting to cry, feeling discouraged and in a state of unhappiness. Hold on to the answer, because you can demolish that before I am done. If you know it, if you can feel it, if you can speak it and or see it, be measured, measure it so that it doesn't match you. You are greater than it. You are always greater than the problems you create. But too many times we flip the meaning of who's greater. And we say, I give up. And I'll never forget that word. When I was about 6 or 7 years old, I heard Winston Churchill, who used to be the Prime Minister of England. And you know what you know how he said, never give up. We shall never give up. So Winston Churchill. And that's why they won the war. That's why London didn't become Germany. It's amazing, isn't it? We shall never give up. If you know it, if you can feel it, if you can speak it, or if you can see it, be it measured onto you as you feel it, as you see it. The principle, this principle is always at work, by the way. This principle about if you think you're happy, if you're happy and you know it, that's a principle. But you don't see it as that. You think it's a little children's song. But if you're happy and you know it, what can happen is that knowing before it's experienced in the physical level causes the physical aspect of your senses to have the joy and happiness of life. Everything that you're experiencing, you have announced it, silently or not. When you got in your car, did you know where you were going? Go like this. Do you know how I know that? Because it's the only way you get to go where you want to go. So, when you get in your car, you have already created a mental equivalent of the place that you are going to arrive at. So when are you going to get in the car of your goodness, of your joy, of your peace, of your so-called wanting a better life, but then ditching it because you got pinched, you got bummed out? You need to get the buster and get the bummed out buster at work for you. If you know it, if you can feel it, if you can speak it, and if you can see it, be it measured onto you according to your thinking. This principle is always at work. If you are happy and you know it, look for it, expect it, because you know what? It is on its way. Why is that so? Because principle is infallible and cannot be bound by precedent. Principle is not bound by precedent. Can we be in control of our own destiny, filled with happiness and well-being? And the answer is yes. If you don't believe it, guess what? You're right about your situation. We can be in control of our destiny, filled with happiness and well-being. Take charge, my friends. Take charge of your life. Take charge. You are using the one infinite mind when you think. Do you know that? Because where did you get your mind from? The mind of God. So when you think, the mind of God is thinking in your littleness or bigness. What do you choose? Happiness or misery? Stop. Think about love. Think about wholeness. Think about the qualities of God. If you could make a list of the qualities of God. If you have a problem with getting it all, call a practitioner. They can help you list the qualities of God. List the qualities of God on a piece of paper and begin to embody it. Begin to say, yes, that's true about me. God is love. That's true about me. God is peace. That's true about me. God is infinite wisdom. That's true about me. And you keep doing this. And that self-affirming prayer can change your life, your destiny, and your joy of being here. You could fill this room up if that's what you want. Or you could drain it out and let it go. But you are in charge. We're not in charge because we stand behind the podium and use a mic to make our voices sound better. No, you're in charge. I mean, of yourself. Or you thought I was thinking about something else? We can be in control and own our destiny, filled with happiness and well-being. Take charge, my friends, I wrote here. You are using the one infinite mind when you let love be the driving power of your thoughts and actions. Divine wisdom guides and enlivens love in action. These expressions of happiness are contagious, by the way. That's why when you start laughing, somebody else starts laughing. Because you have the power of, what is the word for contagious? you are able to change the atmosphere in your immediate environment. These expressions of happiness are contagious, and get others into the joy of it too. Learn how to engage the bummed out buster. It's waiting for your orders. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. We have a great song that we all sing at the end of our service. And it says, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with everybody else. No. Let it begin with me. Have you ever embodied that song? Or you just take it for granted? We're going to sing that and get out of here because I got a date, or because I got to fix my car, or because I got to take care of the kids. We forget that we are affirming something about ourselves, about our lives, about tomorrow for us. We forget that. Don't take it for granted that your voice is made out of the breath of God. You cannot say anything without breath. You know, if you want to be sure, take a mirror and talk to it, and you'll see what's on the mirror. The heat from your voice, because you are using the breath of life. That's why your words count. That's why when you say good things about yourself, you experience a better life. Stop saying, I don't know how I'm going to ever make it. You know what? The principle is activated. Whatever you say I am to is a principle, and it gets activated, and it causes you to have an experience in your life. So let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. So my friends, take time to muse upon what we have shared here today. Take time to reflect. Take time to be silent. Take time to be in awe. Not being in awe means saying, thank you, God. I am in awe of the beauty of your life that you've expressed in me. From the crown of my head to the soles of my feet, I don't care what you think about the crown of my head. I know that God's there too. Take time to be in awe. Take time to contemplate on what? The good that you desire. You say, well, I'm not there yet. No. You'll never be there. You have to declare it first, and then you'll be there. A lot of our energy is put backwards. Take time to contemplate. Take time to meditate. Take time to be alone. Take time to be quiet. Shh. Speak your word and be still. You know, in the Bible, it has a famous verse that says, be still and know. So take time to be quiet. Be still and know that I am. Not be still and know that everybody else is. Be still and know that I am. Are you saying that to yourself right now? You better be. Be still and know that I am. That I am is also in me. That I am is also in me. Take time to hear the silence. Did you just hear that? And take time to know yourself. You know why? There's nobody greater than you. Take time to know yourself. You realize who you are? You are made in the image and likeness of God. Don't let anybody tell you other than that. The image and likeness of God is expressed here in every single person. Every single person. In other words, you're God-like. You're a divine being. When are you going to start believing it and acting it and let it work through you? And let it become a buster to all the bums out that's all there. If you feel bummed out, employ the bummed out buster. Will you remember that? That's my phrase with you today. Thank you for listening. Namaste.